Hey YouTubies, how you doing today? Old Steve-O in here, doing some busy work, busy as a bee, you know? What do I got here? I got me some Q-tips. A little bit of an overkill on the amount, but you know, we use them for everything, and we're using them today as bee lures for our bee traps. Here's a pile of them here. Actually, I get two lures. I get two lures per Q-tip. I take my little handy dandy little dog toenail snippers and I just cut them in half like so. Just get a whole friggin' pile of them, right? This will last a long time right here. And you just pick you up a bottle of one of your better health food stores, or you can go online and get it, lemongrass. That's all you need for these traps. I'm getting to be quite the little professional at trapping bees. First year really, actually, I started in the fall, but the first year I've done this, I've caught some accidentally in some empty boxes out here in the years past. Had some frames, old frames in them. They've moved in. I've had swarms moved in, but I don't know. I don't have the volume of bees like I used to have either. I never worried about, you know, making bees because I always had tons of boxes, just like a lot of these commercial guys. They have tons of bees to work with. So you just go in and grab resources, and if you're buying queens, you just make you up some starter nooks out of 5 framers. I find the best. I've used to use 3 framers. Those things will just work you to death. And then the 2 framers, I don't know. That's there's just not, to me, there's not enough bees in there to protect that box with a 2 framer or even a 3 framer. They just get robbed out. They're weak as heck. They get robbed out. But you take a 5 framer with a lot of resources there, and you've got a nice substantial hive that can protect itself to where it doesn't get overrun so quickly. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. These little lures work great. I don't ever see a need to order Swarm Commander lure. Spend all that, what is it, $36 for that? You got to pay shipping on all. Oh no. No, stop. Just quit acting like Hunter and get off the crack pipe, okay? We don't need to be sucking on a crack pipe or listen to the far left shenanigans. I was in today and got a little blood pulled out of me. I go every other month. 8 weeks is about right, and then I'm 15 or better. My script says the hemoglobin, the iron, they get it, you know, 15. When I hit 15, this morning I was 15.2. I didn't think I was ready, and it was 15.2. The girl said, "You're fine. You're above 15. You're 15.2. Close enough. Let's suck a pint of blood out of you." So we did that. So you got to leave these on about 4 hours after they do it. Otherwise, you'll start leaking blood all over the place. Not good, no. So they do that. So I just had my ribeye, and I'm goofing off, doing some stuff here. Whoops, did I miss one here? Sure did, look at that. Missed one. So look, and just a couple of minutes here, I've got all those lures right there. And then what I do is I throw the little 1 ounce bottle of lemongrass in here. Now I've got all of my luring stuff here in one sack. So this works good. I can just roll this up, bottle and all, shove in my pocket, walk in the woods or wherever I'm at, and freshen up my swarm traps. I've got a double bucket swarm trap on a tree out here, and I set it up last night with a bottle dripping on it, quart bottle. No bees have hit it yet, so I'm just gonna leave it a day or two. They'll start hitting, and then I can use that as my collection. I can just walk out there whenever it's not raining. It's been raining here about every day, but I can walk out there and take my venom therapy tweezers and start grabbing bees and stinging myself here. Put probably 9 or 10 in each arm here. Let them pump about 15 minutes. They'll be totally pumped out. They'll put all the venom that little plunger can push in me. Take a credit card or a little paring knife or whatever, and just scrape those stingers out. And you got the therapy. I'm doing it. I'm going to be doing it every other day. So we got that going on. I bought some B17, which is apricot seeds from Turkey. Yeah, got some Turkey apricot seeds. I'll be chewing on those, half a dozen a day. It's got cyanide in it. Those seeds have got cyanide in them, but it's a lower grade cyanide, and it's called B17. You get other stuff with it. It's great for taking out cancer cells in the body. So we're doing that. We're doing preventive maintenance is what we're doing. And we're doing preventive stuff with these bees because we got to have more bees constantly. We're trying to collect wild genetics, and some make it and some don't. And some I've got out in the field, not many. I've caught probably 17 swarms so far. And maybe a third of them I think are really nice looking colonies from what I'm seeing. Now how long they will survive, I'm not sure. I'm experimenting with different things. I'm experimenting with Swiffer sheets. I'll show you that in a minute here. I'll show you the little cutter. I bought a little cheap cutter on Amazon. It was only 20 bucks. Paper cutter like they used to have in the offices. Nobody uses them anymore, but you can still get them. They're real cheap. If you ever you could pick them up probably at a yard sale or antique store, those old paper cutters, and they last forever. You might have to run a sharpening stone over the blade, but yeah. So I'm doing that. I'm using, I'll just set up my paper cutter and show you what I got, what I'm doing. Okay, guys, here's these sheets I'm using. They're called Dry Mops. They're Dry Mops unscented. And I get them at Publix grocery store. You can see the P on their Publix. And all it says, there's 16 dry mops in here. And I get two when I cut them. I get 2 of them. And this is the way they come in the pack. I've got quite a bundle here now. And what I do here is just lift this knife up. This rig right here, this handle was attached right here. But to put it in a box, they couldn't put this handle on. So this handle, when you put it in, you just push it on and it snaps into this bar here. So it's a real chintzy device. E-Craft is the one I got. E-Craft paper cutter. And these 2 floating fences here came with it. They just snap in. You don't really need them. I don't use them. I don't use them at all. What I'm doing here is, see this fold right here? All I'm doing is lifting this up and putting that fold right on the line of this edge right here, on the edge of this thing, and just boom, that's it. Then what you've got is this thing is cut in half. Now you just open this up. And I just throw them all in my baggie here. When I open this up, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's a textured side on that. I've been putting that up. And this goes at the end. And on a 5-framer, you'll have about this much hanging out. But usually I just take my hive tool and I tuck it in. So you've got about, I don't know, looks like about 4 inches across there. I put one at each end on the end bars. Lay it right on the end bars. So you got all this room for the bees to come up and go. And they get in there and chew, the bees chew this a little bit and they'll fluff it up. So I haven't even been using my little steak knife, serrated steak knife to rough this. You can if you want. I see it's not even necessary because I've been just opening these, slice them on the paper cutter here and drop it in the bag. And now I've got 2. Each one gives you 2, so that covers a hive. So each one of these will take care of a hive. So that's what I'm doing with this thing. So it's a very cheap, I think it was $20 and change for this paper cutter. Be careful, it's got a razor. This blade on here is very sharp. And of course it's cutting like a pair of scissors. So it's gliding right along this cutting edge here. So you just line it up, done, you got the thing cut. So that's what I'm doing. I've thrown away pretty much all of my beetle barns, but because they're sun warped, what a hassle those are. Since I started using these sheets, these dry mop sheets here, like I said, they're unscented. It's just unscented, Publix brand, very cheap. I don't know what it was per box. They're very cheap, and you just put them in, and about every 2 or 3 weeks, you come in, and you pull them out, and see how many beetles you got. Some have a lot of beetles, some not that many. So they are working. You're getting a lot of beetles stuck in here. The bees do propolis that and get a sticky mess. They'll start gluing them down. You wait about 2 or 3 weeks and you go in there, you grab these sheets and they got propolis all over them. So you just pull them out, and usually I just shove them in my pocket. Some bees will get stuck in there. Obviously you don't want to shove live bees into your pocket, but I just usually crumple them up. What few bees are stuck in there, I just crumple them up and shove them in a bucket in the back of my truck, in a trash bucket, and haul it out. Don't be throwing these sheets all over the place because they'll get stuck in lawnmowers and this and that, and the homeowners are not going to like any of that trashy stuff going on in their yard. So make sure you keep these sheets picked up and keep everybody happy. Let's keep a nice homeowner relationship. Let's not piss anybody off out there. Give your landowners honey when you can. I haven't been making that much honey, and I don't even know if I'm going to make any honey this year. It just doesn't look good. The only thing I see happening, I don't think I made hardly anything, not much. They built up a little bit on cabbage palm and black mangrove, but that's winding down. Now September 15th, Brazilian pepper will pop, and I'm on the waterfront. There's tons of that. That's always been a fairly good crop, so maybe I can actually make a little honey, but if I do, it'll be just for my landowners and friends. I'm not going to have much to sell. I don't see anything to sell really, but I could be surprised. Who knows? I could get surprised as the season goes on. Hopefully, pray for me, guys. No hurricanes this year, please. We've had enough. All those homes went underwater last season. The people that are survived, most of them sold out. All their stuff flooded. A lot of those were rentals down there on the waterfront. The landowners are probably just going to let them go to a realtor, a developer rather, and he'll come in. And I see what's happening. Some of those, they're bringing in a team and jacking the entire house up. Be a house just like this here. It's a concrete slab floor. They're jacking the entire building up to 11 feet in the frickin' air. And then they're putting cement columns under there. and getting that finished. I think now you've got to go to 11 and a half or 12 feet is the requirement now to get above flood water. And then they've got it all sitting on cement pilings. They look to be about a foot round circles, pilings up 12 feet or more. They put a pad down below, reinforced pad below. They put a column on there, usually a sonotube over some rebar up to the height they need, and then fill that sonotube all the way with concrete and vibrate it in. Now you've got a column. You got to have so many per square feet a home. They set the house back on that thing and tie it down permanently to those pilings, so the whole thing doesn't blow away. A lot of work, but they're buying those homes up there. I'm sure anybody wants to get into that. And those flooded out homes, they got to be half tore down anyway, because the whole home is saturated. The walls, everything is saturated. All the drywall has to be gutted. Everything in there, all of the electrical has to be taken out. As you know, like here, I've got wall, certain height for these wall receptacles. All of this now, no good. If you're in a flood, you've got to take all that electrical and raise it way up above. I don't know what they do when they're jacking those things up 11 feet in the air, so that's putting all the electrical way up there, so you got to have the whole thing redone. And all that electrical that went under salt water, all those receptacles and all that wiring can't be any good anymore, because it's got salt and intrusion in it. So they're having quite a job with that. And I guess if a contractor came in, I'm sure there's some big contractors coming up, buying up a lot of those homes and putting them all on stilts. Now that real estate's going to be worth a lot. A lot of people want to get on the waterfront down there, but man, the mosquitoes down there are bad. I mean, really bad. Of course, the phone's ringing, and you got mosquito controller out there running around, helicopters and stuff. I told them, I said, I gave them all the addresses of my B location. I said, I don't want to see any fog trucks or no. You know what they told me? Well, we'll just go 300 feet either way of those property lines and then turn the trucks back on. You got drift in there, all kind of stuff. I've had some check out down on the waterfront. I don't know. All you got to have is whips, wind change direction and blow right up my beehives. It's going to kill them. I don't know. Haven't seen nothing serious yet this year. I told them, I said, please just leave the truck. What do you want us to do? We got dengue fever. That's the bone crusher disease. I don't know much about dengue, but I understand it weakens your bones and it can actually start breaking bones in your body. That's why they call it bone crusher disease or something crazy like that. I told him, I said, you got to stop putting these chemicals out, man. You can't kill off the bottom of the food chain. All the fish and stuff are eating that larva, mosquito larva and deer fly larva. All the mud puppies, all the juvenile fish in those mangroves swimming around. They're taking out all the food. And if you think about it, larvicide is thrown in there, that all the larvae from the deer flies and the mosquito larvae. There's other creatures down there, shrimp, crabs, all of that. It's got to be eating that larvicide and killing them. I don't believe for a second that larvicide will leave a crab and a shrimp alone and just kill deer fly and mosquito larvae. I'm not buying any of that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that is just plain crazy. We don't have the fish we used to have anyway. I've been here in Florida my whole life and been out there, and I've gotten bug bit from hell and back. But you take care of yourself. You cover up. You use mosquito dope. You have thermocells, thermocells are, I couldn't hunt up here in North Florida without a thermocell. They will flat kill you, the mosquitoes. And what's nice is when I go up here to the mullet hole, I take a thermocell, I put one on each side of me while I'm sitting in my chair. And the gnats, the sand flies, what they call them, sand gnats, that just chew you up. No, I don't have any big issues with those anymore now that I've got thermocell. Yeah. So use your thermocells. I had a nephew, he went to Alaska salmon fishing, him and 3 or 4 of his buddies. And I told him, I said, you know, you're going there. You ever heard of a thermocell? No, I never heard of such a thing. I said, well, go to your Walmart and get you a thermocell and get you a bunch of, I don't know how long you're going to be there. He said 3 or 4 days. I said, the black flies and mosquitoes there, I understand, are terrible. Get the boys each, get them 2 each. They're not that expensive. And get plenty of refills. So we did. Guys, get this. The fishing guides have never heard of thermocell. I don't know what planet Alaskan hunting and fishing guides have been on or what kind of wacky weed they've been smoking, but to not hear about thermocells, really? Wow. That blew my mind. But he used them. He showed them the guides. The guides were just loving it. They were loving it. And then when he came, when the thing was over, they all gave them the thermocells because you can reuse them. You just got to put in another butane fuel source. You have to have a butane fuel source, and they get a little pricey, but you can refill those. If you go online and look, you can get bulk. The gas, the propane, butane, you can refill those thermocell cartridges. So look into that. Yeah. Thermocell is the way to go, I'm telling you guys. It is a way to go. All right, I get some bees going here on this feeder out here. I'll bring you along so you can see what I'm doing with my bee venom therapy. You saw a little bit of it the other day, but this here I think is going to be an easier way for me to retrieve the bees for my bee venom therapy. Hitting this feeder because they're the older bees and they're on their way out anyway, and the older bees are going to have the most amount of venom in them. They're also guards and stuff on these entrances. Not only collecting, nectar and stuff in the field, but they are also guards. They will have the most venom, so that's what I'm looking for. Top venom producing bees, which will be on this feeder out here, on this swarm trap. And then they'll be busy. You just go up there with your tweezers and start pulling bees off that entrance of the hive. They're gonna flare up because they're giving off pheromone smells as you're grabbing them. You're gonna crank that colony up to where it's gonna be mad as hell. But sitting here at a feeder, I don't think I'm gonna have any issues just walking up and grabbing them one by one off of that. I got one small 1/8" hole in the bottom of this feeder jar. So I'll be able to retrieve those bees as I need them to do my venom therapy. Okay guys, that's it for today. That's all I got. I will catch you soon on the next one. See ya. Be happy, be strong. We're going to keep getting it on. See ya.